During the mid-90s, the video game industry as we knew it went through a massive change. Thanks to advances in modern technology, developers had started to rely less on the old-fashioned second dimension in favor of the new-spangled third dimension. Because of the sudden rise of interest in 3D, many of our favorite franchises that used to be all about the 2D made the jump to 3D, and some have fared better than others. For the Mario series, we got Super Mario 64. For the Mega Man series, we got Mega Man Legends. For the Zelda series, we got Ocarina of Time. For the Bubsy series, we got this forbidden atrocity. And for the Sonic series, we got Sonic Adventure. Wait, no. Before that, we got Sonic Jam. Wait a minute, no. Even before that, we got Sonic Extreme. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Long story short, Sonic 3D Blast. So, yeah, this game is a bit of an odd job. It was developed by Traveler's Tale before their track record got better with the LEGO series, and was the first successful, quote-unquote, attempt at bringing Sonic into the third dimension. Before 3D Blast, Sega had been trying their hardest to make a game where Sonic is playable on a 3D plane, and I think we all know how that turned out, don't we? So as a last-ditch effort, Sega got Traveler's Tale to do the job for them, and to this day it's still considered the black sheep in the series. But before I go into further detail, let's get into the game's plot. Now stop me if you've heard this before. Dr. Eggman, Dr. Ivo Robotnik is kidnapping innocent animals and turning them into robots, and obviously it's up to Sonic to save the day and find all the emeralds before Robotnik does. Though if you want to go by what the intro tries to tell you, it turns out those flicky birds you've rescued throughout your career are actually aliens that have created means to warp from place to place by means of giant floating rings. So Old Egg Jelly wants to take advantage of the Flickies' power by trapping them into robots and have them search for the Chaos Emeralds. So again, Sonic has to free his friends and find the emeralds that he obviously must have put inside all those random special zones, especially seeing how he's been using them throughout his career, but the plot demands it, I guess. There are two versions of Sonic 3D Blast, but for the sake of convenience, we'll look into the Genesis version. Graphically speaking, it does look pretty for a Genesis game. I mean, yeah, everything's all pre-rendered and all, but for what the game could have looked like, I can't really complain. The game's soundtrack has always been a split factor with the fans, just like with Sonic CD, because both the Genesis and Saturn soundtracks are radically different. I mean, on one end, you've got and then on the other, you've got for my money, though, I'm more in it for not to put down the Saturn soundtrack, because that one is good on its own merits, but it honestly can't compete with the Genesis. No way, no how. So that just only leaves the gameplay, and this is the part that usually gets fans' panties in a bunch. Basically, the goal of every level, save for the last one, is to find and destroy every badnik, rescue all the Flickies, and then take them to a giant floating ring. Each section of a level contains 5 Flickies in total, and once they've made it to the ring, you will gain access to the next section of a level. Free all the Flickies, and the level is complete. Many argue that rescuing all the Flickies in a level is pretty tedious work, since that's really the only thing that you can do. Though, if I can be honest, I don't mind it at all. I mean, from a conceptual standpoint anyway. It promotes exploration, and because the levels are built more for exploration than speedrunning, I think it works as a goal-end requirement. I mean, I'd rather have something like that over, I don't know, being kicked out of the level abruptly after collecting the necessary MacGuffins. I'm looking at you, Yoshi Story. With that said, however, I can't really give the game that much credit because the game sadly suffers in the one place it should, and that's in its controls. Sonic's movement feels pretty stiff, and his physics are a bit too precise. I mean, hell, his jumps feel a bit heavier than in the 2D games or the adventure games. I would also say the isometric view doesn't help, but I don't think that's entirely true, because I have played isometric games that actually handle pretty well. I mean, look at the Sega Sonic arcade game from 1993. That game handled the isometric view very well. Though I will have to agree that in the case of this game, it could have been handled a lot better. Outside of the flicky hunting, the only other major thing to do in this game is collect Chaos Emeralds. Because hey, no Sonic game is complete without Chaos Emeralds, am I right? The method of entering special stages in this game is to collect 50 rings, and then try to find either all miles per hour or chuckle.
Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle.
Once you're able to find them, they'll take those 50 rings off your hands and then transport you to the special stage. Also, in the Genesis version, you can actually get Chaos Emeralds from both Tails and Knuckles in the exact same map, so if you play your cards right, you can actually find all 7 Chaos Emeralds by the time you beat Rusty Ruin Zone. And I mean that with a fiery passion, because these are easily the easiest special stages in the history of the franchise. I mean, seriously, look at how I trounced this special stage here. You see what I mean? Collecting all the Chaos Emeralds sadly doesn't let you turn into Super Sonic. Instead, it just gives you access to the final zone in the game, the final fight. Wait a minute. It's a pretty average reward at best, but since it's pretty easy to find all the emeralds anyway, I suppose I shouldn't have expected anything grander. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but at best, this game is just average. While I think it had potential to be a great game in the series, it all just gets squandered because of stiff controls, physics that are a bit too precise, and the length of the levels themselves. Though in all honesty, I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of this game, because I think that with the proper DLC, this game could actually be something pretty solid in the series, but at this point I doubt it'll ever happen. In my eyes, this will only be a 6.5 out of 10, though this is only regarding the Genesis version. I think the Saturn version is a little better, but not by a whole lot. I'm just glad that Sonic was able to make a better first impression in the 3D world with this kick-ass title. You just had to spoil it all, didn't you? This has been QuikViews, and I'm JamesMan the Original / JamesMan Extreme, and I hope to see you all for the next episode of QuikViews. Take care.